Welcome back, everyone. For the last week of the JMA Podcast, we are live at 5. Thank you for joining us. We have special guest Randi Miley, professional grappler, amateur fighter with a 3-win streak, as well as the winner of the Hammer Challenge Series Grand Prix event. Guys, we are back with Jeremy Fairhurst. I am stumbling over my words. It's been a long day. We actually just figured out a bit of our finances and shit. So we're fully in LLC, and I am feeling the pressure officially. Guys, let me welcome my co-host to the stage, Jeremy Fairhurst. Jeremy, thank you for being here today, my man. How have you been?
I'm doing fantabulous. I wanted to let you know you're popping up just a little bit soft for me. It might be my audio. I'm not sure. I don't know how turned up my stuff is. I can see you're literally right in your microphone. So
Is that a little better, boss?
that was a little bit better, yeah.
All right.
And keep in mind I'm also using monitor speakers, so it might be on my side as well a little bit. Yeah, man, I'm doing good. Excited for this podcast, excited for the guest. I know you've been running around doing all kinds of stuff today, trying to produce behind the scenes, get everything set up. So, yeah.
Man, it's different stepping back into producer seat after season 2 of having Dalton here for all these episodes. I mean, it definitely made everything a lot easier. We do have some positive news though, everyone. Looking at UFC last weekend, a lot of things came out of that, including suspicious betting caused fight cancellation in fight concerns that went out between Michael Johnson and Alex Hernandez was pulled from UFC 324 just hours before the event due to suspicious betting patterns reported by Integrity Service. Following that, and you might have some comment on this, Jeremy, Paddy Pimblett hospitalized following a brutal loss to Justin Gaethje at UFC 324. Paddy Pimblett was taken to the hospital, leading to significant concern and viral discussion about the fight's aftermath. Did you hear anything of that?
I think people worrying too much. The man went 5 rounds with Justin Gaethje. Yeah, they sent him to the hospital afterwards. I would go to the hospital afterwards. You would go to the hospital afterwards. Anybody worried about it would go to the hospital afterwards. Also, props to Justin Gaethje for finally learning how to wrestle. It only took him like 10 years in the UFC or whatever long it's been. Somebody will correct me in the comments. I don't care. But yeah, no. Now he just gets to go get chinned by Taforia. So woo! Great for everybody. Betting patterns were weird, but yeah, overall it was a good card. Oh, and Sugar Sean won, and they need to give him a title shot. Yeah, there we go.
That's great because I actually didn't even have Sugar Sean's fight on here. How did that go?
He won rounds 1 and 3 and went Super Saiyan mode in round 3 and beat Son Yadong by decision. Some people said it was a robbery because they don't have eyes, but it's okay. My boy's gonna he's gonna skip over everybody else, fight for the belt again, like he deserves to. Well, we're going to go from there. Sean O'Malley, gone. Rematch.
All right. We have Rose
Namajunas.
I'm not even try again. Gruesome injury. Rose revealed she suffered a severe eye injury from multiple eye pokes against Natalie Silva at UFC 324. Apparently, they still haven't solved the eye poking problem yet.
Yeah, she actually went to surgery yesterday. I saw that literally on my Instagram. She just she did a little video where she was actually about to go into surgery because all under here was messed up with the eyes. Yeah, I mean, that's how Justin Gaethje beat Pimblett. I don't care what anybody said. Round 3, or it was round 2 or round 3, he hit him with his thumb and stunned him with an eye jab and then beat him down. And it was like, oh, well, okay. Kung Fu works, guys. You say it doesn't, and then Justin Gaethje uses it. Moving on.
Allegedly, referee carried out footage went viral of referee Mark Smith being carried backstage by UFC crew members after allegedly suffering a leg injury during a fight at UFC 324.
Yeah, he blew his ACL.
How did that happen? They get in
I didn't watch it. I don't know how a ref blows his ACL, but I mean, I guess he got really excited and moved a little too quick, I would assume. I don't know. That's wild, though.
And then we have the fighter who fainted during the weigh-in, sprinting quickly. Fighter Cameron Smotherman fainting on stage after making weight for UFC 324. We reported on this on the Instagram page, I think, as well. And then lastly, viral post-fight call-out. Fighter David Goldberg went viral after Tough Enough event for a wild post-fight interview where he insulted Dana White, calling him a bloated Mr. Clean. That is not inaccurate.
I don't know who that is. I'm going to be honest. I think he's mad Dana White has more money than him. And that's why I know Dana's name and not his. But it's okay.
All right. Well, we have one last segment here. We have the upcoming event segment. Hammer Challenge Series is going to be in Hazlitt, New Jersey, January 30th. That is this Friday. I want to say it kicks off somewhere after 3 p.m. It's a work day. So it's got to be somewhere in that ballpark. So, guys, this is going to be their first fight night of the year. This is going to be all super fights. Following that following Saturday in Albany, New York, is going to be Cage Wars MMA. That's going to be January 31st, as well as K4 Fighting. That's going to be out in Rochester, New York, as well as Warrior Cage Grappling. I don't have the exact location. I do know they are Jersey. They're supposed to be holding a really phenomenal event. I would go check them out. They have all their information on Instagram. And then lastly, Future Fighting tickets are on sale now for March 14th. That is in Louisville, Kentucky, I believe. Yeah, Jeremy, that's your domain.
Yes.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's welcome our guest to the stage. She's been waiting way too long already. Randi Miley. How are we doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Blessed and unstoppable. Thank you for being here today. You've had an exciting career. We've seen you competing at Hammer Challenge Series. I want to say it was over the summer. You were at Schwenksville, Pennsylvania for the Grand Prix. You were the winner, I want to say, of $1,000. Undefeated MMA, right?
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, how we got here, and where you're going.
Yeah, so I'm a 10th Planet black belt. I've been training for 11 years. I started when I was 13. I'm 24 years old now. I have a background in obviously no-gi jiu-jitsu. I was a youth national sambo champ. I wrestled in high school. I was lucky enough to catch just the start of women's high school wrestling kicking off my junior year. So I got to go to states junior and senior year. I got 2nd place and 4th place. And I also have a little bit of a karate background, mainly like a mix of all different striking arts, kind of like put together. My coach was really good at that with the stand-up. And yeah, that's a little bit about my background. I did fight amateur. I had 3 fights. I did win all by armbar. And I'm hoping to maybe have another fight this year, maybe 1 or 2, and then eventually go pro once it's time. I'm working on opening my very own jiu-jitsu and MMA school too this year, so I got a lot going on.
I noticed you took a little bit of a hiatus from the MMA. What happened there?
Yeah. So I actually tore my ACL back in, I think it was about a year and a half ago. So I was doing that. Recovery went really well. I don't know if you guys are familiar with any of the ACL surgeries. There's a couple different ways you could repair it. I got the toughest one, but it's the strongest. So now my ACL is actually stronger than it ever was before, because they took a piece of my patellar tendon right here under my knee and basically twirled it up really tight and turned it into a ligament for my knee. So now I have what was part of my tendon, my ACL ligament now. So since then I've been competing in a lot of jiu-jitsu and stuff just to get back into the scene of combat sports, because I didn't want to jump right back into MMA and risk re-injuring it too soon or anything.
No, that's smart. Too many athletes. I can think of one off the top of my head who jump into MMA fights way too often. Maybe even taking them on 2 days notice. And
it's hard not It's funny you bring that up because it's really hard not to like take fights on, last minute, because sometimes it's hard to get a fight. Like you guys know that in MMA, it can be difficult for them to find you someone that's close to your level, your exact weight, close to your skill and all that. So when they do find you someone, it's hard not to just like jump right on it. But if you have a good coach, most of the time they should be, telling you like which fights to take, or, if it's like a rush or not. You want to go in as prepared as you can. And I want my career to be in MMA. So sometimes waiting.
Do you feel like it's harder to find fights in female MMA, or like compared to the males?
Sometimes. I think it depends on. It was harder for me only because I didn't start fighting until I was like a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. So a lot of strikers at least didn't want to fight me if they didn't have a jiu-jitsu background. And I feel like it's definitely more common for people, at least right now in MMA, to have a striking background than a jiu-jitsu background. So that's the only reason why it was harder for me, because they heard, 10th Planet brown belt or 10th Planet black belt, and they didn't want to take the fight. But I
don't know how accurate this is, but I feel like when it comes to jiu-jitsu, the belt really does, or MMA, the belt in jiu-jitsu doesn't really matter, because you have this like, you have to deal with so many other different variables that like you don't really have that opportunity to play that full jiu-jitsu game.
Yeah, it is true. Like, I mean, especially, I feel like maybe 10 years ago, that was even more so true. Like, you'd have, like, blue belt, jiu-jitsu people, like, beating up people in MMA fights. But now everyone's starting to get into jiu-jitsu. So, yeah, it really doesn't matter too much. You could have wrestling background, striking background. I think it's more about, like, creating, like, the perfect game plan for yourself and who you're going against. Yeah.
What was the biggest hurdle you had when developing your own game plan?
That's a good question. I would say my biggest hurdle was probably finding a way to get the fight to the ground, because jiu-jitsu is where I do my best. And my hands are not my best. My boxing's not the best. But my kicks are pretty good for amateur level. So I would say transitioning from a wrestling double leg to an MMA double leg, that was probably the hardest, because even though it's like the slightest difference, it was so hard to get used to using like my shoulder or my like head to like impale their stomach and drive straight through them, rather than coming in on an angle and like lifting them this way like you would with like a wrestling takedown, because then you can start to guillotine choked and stuff. So I'd say probably my transition from a wrestling takedown to like more of a MMA explosive like drive through them type of takedown. But even though it was the hardest part, it was definitely the most fun part. Like I remember drilling that over and over and over again, and when you would hit it like just right, it was so satisfying.
So that leads me to ask, so do you think that adding that to your game, that more aggressive takedown style, that was like the thing that kind of merged your jiu-jitsu game into MMA? So like, do you think that's something jiu-jitsu schools should practice more? Is their takedown game?
I feel like more, so I guess it was like a good window to get to the piece that really like brought everything together, and that's the cage work. I think everybody around like everyone in MMA, they all need to work on their cage work, because everyone is like, oh, it's striking, it's jiu-jitsu, and it's wrestling. It is, but what about the wall? It's an entirely different thing, and that is the biggest thing that my coach helped me with. And it's literally its own sport.
Were you the one who, I'm sorry, were you the one who asked about the wall at a Hammer Challenge series?
I was. That's why I asked about it. Okay. But so my coach, Jason Millie, he has this system where you take wrestling and judo and striking, and you use it all on the wall. So it's simple, but basically the gist of it is if you have someone pinned up against the wall, right? If they're standing like straight up or almost straight up, your best bet is to judo throw them, basically, because it's just judo, but judo on the wall. If they're curled over or in like a lower stance, you have to wrestle them. So like ankle picks, driving your forehead into them, pulling their legs out from underneath them. Then if they stand back up, you're, reaping the inside of their leg and maybe going for like front, like headlock stuff a little bit. And knowing when and where to use like those different styles of takedowns. You can't just wrestle, you can't just do judo, and you can't just box them. Like you could, but you wouldn't be well-rounded, and it's MMA, it's not just wrestling. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. I'm sorry, I'm processing it in my head. I'm trying to envision it because like one of the you're right about the whole like applying the the throws and the takedowns from the cage, because one of the biggest issues I see is the derated period where they're clinched up along the cage, or someone doesn't know how to do a proper reversal. They don't know how to change the position or the levels while they're pinned there, and it creates
holding each other, right? And it kind of stalls out.
Yeah, it's a stalemate.
This is interesting because again, obviously, I don't want to be the broker. I only had the one MMA fight, but that was the one thing that threw me was when the bell first rang and we came out and he started throwing those leg kicks. I checked a couple and I pushed him up. We ended up against that wall within 15 seconds.
Yes.
And I didn't even realize, like, I was like, oh, I grabbed onto him out of instinct. And, like, if I had gone through and trained that more going in of, like, how to take control of the situation, but there was a good minute or two of us just going around the outside of the ring, like, reversing each other until it actually went to the ground. So it's a huge part of and it happens quickly, too.
Yeah, like, honestly, I feel like maybe 80% of when it comes to, like, the technique and even the cardio and everything, like, live rounds, like, maybe 70% of it, 75% of it was based on the wall. And we didn't have, like, a fancy cage at our school. We literally just had, like, a padded wall. That's all you need to work on it. And honestly, it's better because you're not getting, like, all cut up and stuff and bruised on your back. But besides the double leg for MMA, that helped me, and then to get them to the wall. But even more than that, I'd say the kicks. Kicking, especially side kicks in MMA, because nobody does them. People are starting to, and there were some people, don't get me wrong, that had more traditional like karate backgrounds and stuff that would do side kicks, but it's still one of those like weapons that's just not utilized, like, because a lot of people just do Muay Thai or they just do boxing. They don't do all these other forms of striking that give them different tools and stuff. So the kicking was major for me, learning how to because I already had a side kick. So for me, like the camps were about learning how to use that side kick to really push and shove them towards that wall. Because like you said, the cage is so much smaller once you get in it. It only takes like 10 seconds. So all you need is one really good pushing kick, like a teep or a side kick, get them on the wall. And then as long as you've drilled on that wall over and over again, you have them basically stuck. You can start winning at that point.
That's smart advice. No, that using that for the distance measurement, pushing them. Did I just sound weird there?
You're making sounds over there or something.
Yeah, you just went out for like a second.
I was gonna ask you, did the sidekicks come from karate?
100%, yeah. Yeah, that was my instructor's background.
Because I feel like people underestimate karate. Like George St. Pierre had a karate background. I think a few other like champions had karate backgrounds. Karate has some good strikes. How much of your striking did you translate to MMA?
How much of like the karate did I translate to MMA?
Yes. I'm sorry. How much of the karate striking did you translate into your MMA when you went into camp and stuff?
Well, definitely the side kicks. There's also that one uppercut. It's like a karate jab, some people call it. It's instead of like an uppercut this way, you just go like straight up the middle. So it's kind of like a jab, but mixed with like an uppercut. So you're right here. It's real quick. A few like leg kicks. And then the other thing too with the karate is that's different from Muay Thai. Oh, sorry about that. Is the way that you end your kick. So a lot of people can only say you're kicking with your back leg. You kick with that back leg, you hit them. A lot of times people can only bring that leg back, and then they're reset in their original stance. What karate I think helps you do is kick them and then land in a new stance. So instead of bringing yourself back, you're advancing in on them, and now you're in a completely different stance, and they can't read you. They don't know what's going to happen next. And if they happen to hit you, well, now you're in a new stance with a new set of techniques in that stance. So it's unpredictable. You know what I mean? And you could get in the pocket instead of running back every single time. So it helped me with that too, being able to fight on both sides.
I like that because it makes sense. It's almost like what Connor used with the Floyd fight, where he kept changing up his from normal to southpaw, and he kept throwing Floyd off during the boxing fight because he didn't know how to approach the stance.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying you're using... Sorry, my bad.
Oh, you're good. What were you saying?
So I was clear. So you're saying the kicks a lot of times it seems to be your range management and your ability to like basically you're gaining control of your opponent and everything before you ever have to close the distance. You're utilizing the side kicks and stuff to get them up against the wall, and then utilizing your coach's system to get them to the ground, where you can use the jiu-jitsu, which is your actual like finishing techniques. That's a good system, and the fact that you're able to like lay that out step by step and say, this is what I'm going to do here, that's like cute. That shows the difference between like an amateur fighter and somebody that's at a pro level.
Oh, well, thank you. And my first fight or two, I was honestly all the way up until my third fight, I was like really bad at cutting angles. So me and my coach have been working on that since then. I think I've gotten better at it, but before I was good at it. I remember my last fight, I think it was the third round. My coach said to me, he's like, one of my other coaches, he's like, oh, you gotta cut your angle. You have to cut your angle to take her down or something like that. And then, you know how quick it is, right? When they come in, they give you a little advice and then they run out. It feels like 5 seconds. So we ran out and I was like, shit, I can't cut angles. Like, I know I can't cut angles. So I was like, okay, what's like the next best thing? What's like an angle cut, but not an angle cut? And that's my overhand. So I was like, I know I can drop my level with an overhand. I love that overhand. So I'll just come in. And that's what I did in that third round. I came in, boom, overhand, and that let me drop my level to get my double leg. So I think it's also too like, improvising. You know, when someone tells you to do something, if you know you can't do it, you have to think of a way, like another way to do it, if that makes sense.
And you ended that in 11 seconds with an armbar.
Which one was that?
That was the last fight? So,
my last fight.
Leaf?
Oh, that was my second fight, I think. My last fight, I went the distance. I went 3 rounds, and then I finished. I finished it just before the buzzer went off. I had like 10 seconds left. I might have heard like the knock, and I was like, oh, dang, I gotta finish this. Because I really, obviously, everybody wants to finish when you're in a fight. And that one I kind of had to get creative with, too, because it's amateur, so we couldn't strike the head on the ground, which is kind of frustrating. I understand why they do it, because they're trying to keep everybody, like, safe. But it is frustrating, because sometimes, a lot of the times, your jiu-jitsu works so much better when you can hit them in the head. So I remember I was mounted, and I was mounted, like, I had mount, like, the majority of the fight. But I just couldn't get my armbar, like, going. And I'm sure she knew that I liked armbar, so she was staying, like, really tight in here. So I heard the knock. I had, like, 10 seconds. And I had to think, like, on the spot. I was like, what can I do? I was like, I wish I could hit her in the head. And then I was like, well, I can't hit her in the head, but the next best thing would be, like, her shoulder, because it's really close to the head. So I was like, I'm just go all out, hammer fisting her shoulders as hard as I can, and like almost pretend it's like her head. And because I did that, I think her like instinct, like her muscle memory kind of like kicked in, and she went up like, oh shit, and put her arms up to like kind of almost like block her head. And that's what gave me the armbar. And honestly, I couldn't believe it worked. I was only hitting her shoulder. Only her shoulder. But it made her just cover it instinctually, because that's what everybody's going to do when they see the hands coming towards their head.
Yeah. That's funny.
I know.
That's crazy how, like, it's stupid.
I was like, I can't believe that worked.
That's super simple, though.
Yeah. Super,
Interesting.
super.
John always gives us crap over here in Kentucky because, like, you get knee to the head in amateur here in Kentucky. Like, first fight, I got knee to my face, my one fight. Like, so, like, I mean, it's like,
that's
ground and pound, all of that. I think it's in New York and all those. You guys have to go like 2 or 3 fights with modified rules.
Y'all are weird out there.
3 or 4, yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, Kentucky, it's like totally different. They get mad about having to wear shin guards still over here doing kickboxing. But
you guys night before weigh-ins, right? Do you guys like weigh in the day before?
Yeah, they still weigh in the day before and all that.
I was gonna say you could see the weigh-ins, but
yeah,
in New Jersey, they don't even like. I don't even fight, even though I'm from New Jersey. I don't fight in New Jersey because the rules are like so strict. Like in New Jersey, like sometimes you can't hit the head when you're standing, or you have to wear headgear. They're super, super strict. But in Pennsylvania and New York, they're a little bit more like lax. So that's where I normally fight.
What kind of Olympic karate bullshit is that?
You know, I know, it's crazy.
Hey, but that's what Michael says when he sees an MMA fight. You're not allowed to punch when they're on the ground. It's interesting to hear you bring that up and how you had to, in the moment, come up with a way to get the same result but going about it a different way. So that's interesting. I've never heard of that before. And you said it was the shoulder.
Yeah, like right here, like right at like the top of the shoulder.
And John, you look like you're about to say something. Go for it.
No, I got it right now. I was gonna actually ask if you wanted to switch over to trivia.
Oh, you want to hear some trivia? Oh man, are we already 28 minutes in? Okay.
Let's do it.
All right.
I fight, so I'm not smart. I get hit in the head a lot.
Hey, no, that's part of it.
I saw you like game shows, so I threw on an extra trivia thing here, and I might even throw in an extra too. I did that last episode too, so we'll see how it goes. Jeremy, congratulations! You are now the host of trivia tonight.
I'm always the host. What do you mean? Okay, you look at me and you go, you know what? This guy looks like he can say these trivia questions real nice, and I bet she's gonna get like all 4 of them completely correct too. All right, let's go for it, John. Nah, yeah, you got it. All right, John, what's up? Give me some questions. All right, who was the first female to be named a champion in the UFC? Misha Tate.
Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey. She said Ronda Rousey. She didn't even have to like take a second.
She was my idol. I loved her. She was the best.
All right, so it was Ronda Rousey. All right. Eddie Bravo founded 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu in what year? 2009? Huh?
I said, well, let's see. 1999, I wasn't even born yet. 2003, I was 2 years old. 2009, I was 8. I don't think it was 1999.
I'll give you a hint. It was the same year that he beat Hoyler, whichever Gracie it was that he beat. I
was gonna say 2003. I was gonna say 2000. I was guessing though. Fair.
Hey, no, you figured it out though. You were starting to say it, and then the timer went. Okay, all right. What's on this one, John? Okay. This is some crazy timing. What is the most effective takedown statistically in MMA?
It's got to be the double.
Double leg?
Yeah, it's got to be. I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
All right. She says double leg, John. What's up? Oh, it's on is it on the timer? Is that what it is? It's like a little video thing, huh?
I do like, I'm not a big fan of the single leg, but double leg.
All right, you're right. All right. We got another one? Okay. Which martial art was featured in the first UFC event? Savate, Lucha Libre, or Yeet Kid Do?
Savate is the art of leg kicks, kicking. But Lutte Livre, I don't know. Let's go with Savate, just because I like it. I like the kick.
All right.
Yes.
Oh, more. Okay. In Kickboxer 1989, who played the Muay Thai trained fighter avenging his brother?
Jean-Claude Van Damme, I think. I've only seen that movie once.
All right. Yeah, you got it. You blew these out of the water. A lot of people get that question wrong, too. That's a good one.
I think that was the movie where he jumps and does the split and kicks people in the face, right?
Yes. Oh, John wants to be funny. Jordan Hargrove has one win on record. Who was it against? Nate Hamblin, Jeremy Fairhurst, or Grant Holland?
I don't know at all, but I'm going to go with C, only because when I was in school, my teacher said always go with C if you don't know the answer.
That's my logic. I joke that you didn't get. That's the guy who I lost to. So John just decided to just throw that in. So he slid that one in without letting anybody. Okay. You got too many right in a row, so you just had to throw some crazy shit in there, huh? Okay.
I like it. Keeping me on my toes.
We covered it earlier in the episode, so I figured it was fair game.
Oh, I lost audio for a second there.
No, that's funny. Yeah, no, Kickboxer. I believe that was the one where they did the. He had the dim mock, the touch of death that they made him prove right off the rip. All right. So I wanted to ask you. You're talking about opening up a school. What made you want to do something like that, especially pursuing an MMA career? What was your thought process there?
Well, I've always wanted to. I always knew it was going to be something I would do eventually, but I thought it would be something, in like 20 years. I never really had like a date set for it. Mm-hmm. And then, life circumstances, and I think the universe or God or whoever you want to say was kind of like, hey, it's time. And I'm in a point in my life where I've been lucky enough to really see like this past year, like who I have in my corner, literally and metaphorically, who's there for me, my family, my friends, and my coach, my boyfriend. And it's just the right timing, honestly. I think if I didn't have these certain life circumstances at the moment, I don't think I would have done it on my own. So it was kind of like a little, honestly, it wasn't a push, it was like a shove in the right direction. And my boyfriend, he's very supportive of me, and I know it's his dream to have his own school too, and it's been my dream to fight professional for, ever since I started. So why not do it at the same time, and support each other? I know I can help him with classes. I know I can be a good instructor, and he's already proven to be a great coach for me in MMA. So yeah, it's all about timing.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to put everything together and make everything kind of come together. Do you guys have a spot for a location? Do you guys have a brand name? Are you going to continue the 10th P lineage? How's all that going together?
So we don't have a spot yet. We're looking. We're in the middle of looking right now. We want to stay in Morris County, like New Jersey, just because Sussex County is not very populated compared to Morris County. So it'll be in Jersey, probably Morris County. We're looking at a couple different places. I really wanted to get into like the Denville area, but I just got a message from my realtor, and he was saying that they're not zoning any fitness in there anymore. So I don't know. We'll see. It's just kind of going to be what comes at the right moment that fits, our needs. And as far as 10th Planet goes, I mean, we're going to have to get the blessing, of course, from Eddie Bravo before we can move on with that. But I wouldn't want to bother him with that question until we have a location. And then as far as any other name goes, I mean, we're looking at Flag MMA just for personal reasons. You know how, like, artists, are you guys, like, music fans at all?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like music? You know how, like, artists will come up with, like, names that are, for instance, like Tupac. I'm a big Tupac fan. You guys like Tupac?
I'm a little bit familiar. I don't know a ton, but, like, a little bit.
Well, he has this like saying, thug life, and everyone thinks it's all, like, tough and whatever, like thug life, but it really stands for the hate you give little children fucks everybody. And then another artist, Justin Bieber, his whole thing is like swag. I think it stands for son, wife, and God. So we have Flag, and it's a personal thing to us, and our family will know it, but really other than that, that's about it.
Okay, no, that's super cool. I mean, you got the thing that has like almost like an outward symbol to it that's recognizable, but it's personable to you guys. So that's really awesome. I look forward to seeing what you guys do with this gym. I look forward to visiting it and seeing what you guys do in the future. By the way, you've mentioned your boyfriend. Let's give your coach and boyfriend a shout out. What's his name?
So that's Jason Miley. And he's Jason Miley 10P on Instagram if you guys want to follow him. I'm Randi Miley 10P. His is Jason and then Milley, 2 L's. Mine is Randi Miley, RandiMil, just 1 L, EY 10P. And then my YouTube is Maymay MMA. Maymay is just my nickname that my family gave me ever since I was little. So it's Maymay MMA, MAE, MMA. I have nothing posted yet, but that's one of my short-term goals is to start getting YouTube started. So
I'll tell you what, we'll help you out by getting you started with a collab from this podcast episode. I'm getting your tag up here for you now, so people can find it easily. All you gotta do is pause the episode, and it'll be on the screen. Now, there we go.
Sweet. There it is. I'm official, guys.
Absolutely. All right. Till next time, we do appreciate you being here. This has been a phenomenal episode. You've been a great guest. I apologize for the delay in getting us started and any errors that we had. Again, really appreciate you being here. Can't thank you enough.
Thank you, guys. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun.
Absolutely. All right, guys. To the guests, thank you for being here. Keep in mind, subscriptions, views, comments, shares, and likes mean more than anything. JMA is built for athletes. We do regional coverage. We do national coverage. We're trying to do press conferences, live streams. We're trying to provide live streams for free to viewers. We're trying to work with promotions and companies to try and do this. But the best way to bring everything together is just show people that they're interested in what we're doing. And the best way you can do that is like, comment, and share. Guys, till next time, stay blessed. This has been the JMA Podcast. Peace.